Before we get to the first super of the night, Jim, I mean, what can you even say at this point? Blake Snell was unbelievably good working out of jams. Padres, for a moment, appear to have tied the score and then have the potential go-ahead run at third with only one out. They get this controversial overturn call that benefits the Giants, and the Padres don't score again. They've gone 23 innings consecutively without scoring.
Honestly, I don't know what else to say other than they are just in an incredible slump right now. You've added all these pieces. You've added superstars, and maybe it's as simple as they just need time to click, or maybe it's as simple as it's just baseball and they're all going through the slump. I don't know what to say. This is a bad stretch. They're 1-5 since the trade deadline. The players they have here are all slumping. The players they brought here are all slumping. Josh Hader hasn't had a save opportunity once. Juan Soto does not have a home run. Josh Bell, I don't think has an extra base hit. He might have one. But overall, it's just it's a top-down team-wide slump. And I don't know how they're going to get out of it other than they just need to find a way to get a big hit, find a way for someone to get hot, and it's incredibly frustrating. It is incredibly frustrating how this team did all these moves and they played like shit for the last 5 games.
Well, it's crazy because obviously the Padres are pressing and their opponents aren't. I mean, the Dodgers have no reason to press. They've got this zillion-game lead in the NL West. They win 3 straight games. Giants aren't pressing. The Giants are the team that, they see themselves in a position where it's kind of house money. You sweep this series here, win 2 out of 3, all of a sudden you're still in the NL wildcard race. The Padres are the team right now. There's still 50 games remaining. This is not the time to press. This is the time to go here, be free and loose. And for whatever reason, for a second consecutive year, last year they make no moves. All they do is press. This year they make every move in the world. All they do is press. And it's this year, different manager. This year the front office is aggressive. Last year it's not. I mean, what's the answer here to get this franchise over the hump? Let's start with the first super of the night. We see the supers rolling in. Thank you, guys. Great way to support this channel. We're going to get to all of the supers here tonight. We appreciate your support on this Monday evening. So Matthew Keene, thank you. Thank you for this generous super. He says, overreaction. It feels like we could also add a healthy Trout and Ohtani and still be struggling offensively. It's been a problem all year, but now it's catching up to us. It's kind of, as crazy as that sounds, it's hard to argue that you can add Bell, Soto, Drury, and you can't score a run. And it doesn't make any sense.
I know the exact reason why this team has been struggling. I know what the reason is, John.
Mm-hmm.
It's the San Diego curse.
Yeah, it's because the curse pushed Tatis off a motorcycle.
Right. The curse also overturned the call tonight at home plate.
Yeah. And we'll get into that, obviously. I mean, that's a huge moment in this game. It doesn't mean they win, by the way, if they score there, but better shot.
God. So give me 1 second. Richard Simmons is back in the chat.
Oh, God.
I need to change settings here real quick.
Change some settings. Be like, no Richard Simmons allowed. Matthew, thank you. Let me get to some additional supers here. Matthew, greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for these supers. We're just getting started on this very disappointing Monday night. It's been a disappointing week for Padres fans after the splash of the trade deadline. Jake, thank you for your support. Jake, great to have you here. It was great to hang out with you at the watch party last night as well. He says the Padres are playing like absolute horseshit. I think that's the translation.
Very fair.
And he's right. And what's crazy here, Jim, and this has nothing to do with Peter Seidler or AJ Preller or maybe even the team. I mean, pressing happens. But you're getting 45,000 people on a Monday, and you can't score a run. Against a good pitcher, Alex Wood's good. And he is. And he's completely dominated the Padres. He's a good pitcher. But you're playing in front of 50,000 people or whatever it is, 45,000 people. You can't score. I mean, they've played in front of 5 consecutive sellout crowds, maybe 6. And they can't score. It's like this crowd is waiting to explode. Kawhi Leonard is there. What a do, baby. And you can't get anything going under any circumstance against any pitcher on any night. Alex Wood throws 90. Tyler Anderson throws 90. I mean, you're going to face good pitching, and it's going to happen here down the stretch. Thank you. Jason says, first, just make the playoffs. That's all we are asking for. No doubt, Jason. I'm with you at this point. Just get in, at least when you're in. At that point, you're playing with house money. I mean, it's house money because they're not going to be the 1 seed or the 2 seed. I mean, nothing ever goes right. Just get in and play with house money, and maybe things go right then because they're not going right now. So maybe they go right then.
I mean, luckily the playoffs don't start next week, but by this time next week, they could be out of the playoff picture. And I know you play.
No, I don't think so.
No, well, the way they're playing right now,
not out of it.
I think they'll beat the shit out of the Nationals. At least I hope so.
I don't know.
I mean, if they face, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule, but if they face Sandy Alcantara when they go to Miami,
well, I'm sure they will. They probably will. That's why wouldn't they?
I mean, Jose Lopez, like he's a tough lefty.
You know, Mackenzie Gore is going to shove in his return.
Oh, you know, Luke Voigt's going to have like 5 home runs in this series.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Which super did I miss? And thank you, Jason, for your very generous super.
You missed.
No, you were doing your thing. I guarantee I got to him. Let's see.
Guarantee you didn't.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Soto.
Got to it. Oh, no, okay. I didn't. I didn't get to that. Didn't. Solo Dolo, thank you. Soto should lead off to set the tone, maybe center field too. Dude, he can't be playing no center field, but either can Will Myers.
Right.
But I like the leadoff idea. I don't hate because he sees pitches. I do not hate that at all.
No. And I think
Profar can't get on base.
I think when Tatis returns, I think in some shape or some way or whatever, the top 3 needs to be Tatis, Soto, Manny. Whatever order possible. Whatever order you want. Soto, Tatis, Manny, or Tatis, Soto, Manny.
Shoot, lead off with Manny. Who cares at this point? They can't score.
At this point, no, because he's doing nothing.
Dude, he hit a ball off the left field wall. I don't think tonight's on Manny.
I'm not saying the night's on Manny. Jesus.
You said he can't do anything. He did something tonight. He did like their offense. Your boy Richard Simmons is back.
That's great. Hold on. You could just block his ass.
I did.
Did you get it? Did you get to Vector?
No. How'd I miss all these, Jim?
You I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Worst is this team isn't funny to even quote. Wait. Worst is this team isn't fun even to see lose.
No, you're right. It's boring. It's hard to watch.
Boring baseball.
All the crowd does is try to will this team back into a game.
The last week, the only exciting part about the last week was been the first inning when they had Juan Soto.
Oh, that was great. We were like, this is the greatest team to ever play.
It's like the greatest inning like in the history of the sport.
Man, baseball can be so incredibly frustrating. By the way, I get the fans throwing things on the field. I saw the criticism. Nobody ever saw a replay at Petco Park that would have warranted the call being overturned. Now, I didn't see anything until after the call was overturned. Bally Sports San Diego showed a frame by frame, and they stopped it at a frame before Drury touched home plate where it did look like the tag was applied. Now, was it too close for an overturn? I have no clue. I don't even know what the rule actually states. I've been waiting on Twitter to get the official video from MLB. It's never come out. So it's a little fishy. It was a hell of a relay, I'll tell you that. It was a perfect freaking tag. And it's a terrible break is what it was. I can't believe it was overturned. I thought eventually I saw, again, a video frame by frame where it showed maybe the tag was before Drury got there. So I get the fans throwing things on field. You watch this team day in and day out, and then you can't see on the video board why it's being overturned, then they overturn it. I get the frustration. Everyone's frustrated.
Yeah. No, it's at first glance, you're like, he's safe. And then they show one replay that shows that his hand was up and he got tagged before he hit the plate.
That's right. No one person's going to fix this. I mean, if Juan Soto can't fix it and all these additions they have to play loose and free and like a team. And they're going to need some breaks, and they're going to need to – it's going to start by winning series. And, I mean, it doesn't just start because you're playing the Nationals. Like this idea, they got a light schedule in August. Okay, it's the big leagues. I mean, it doesn't guarantee them anything.
All right, so then You got to
Vito?
sure.
Vito, thank you. He says, thank you for the super. Thank you, guys. You can click that $ down below. We'll get to all the supers, I promise, even if I miss some, because Jim is a good backup. Vito says they don't adjust during at-bats. They seem to come up looking for one thing, and if they don't see it, game over. The Dodgers adjust like mofos. Yeah, it's been tough to watch. 23 consecutive scoreless innings, Jim. 23 consecutive.
That's shit. That is beyond shit. And you're not facing Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom and, Alcantara. You're facing fucking Tyler Anderson and Alex Wood. Like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. 23 consecutive scoreless innings. Blake Snell, by the way, 2.41 ERA in his last 7 starts. 1 earned run or fewer in 6 of his last 7 starts. It's like you're getting the things we've asked for. We asked for Blake Snell to pitch like this. He has. Yu Darvish has pitched well. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like you get good starting pitching and you can't score a run. And that's just crazy frustrating. You come within 3 feet of a solo home run. You come within 1 inch of a run. All these things. Like, it's just when things are going bad, they're going bad. We've all watched baseball long enough to know, or Padres baseball long enough to know that this can happen, and it's incredibly frustrating when it does.
It's beyond frustrating. It feels like you said at the beginning of the show, for whatever reason, last year they pressed because of the trade deadline. This year they're pressing because of the trade deadline. And you got a new manager in there. So we all talk about Jace Tingler being the problem. Well, they got a new manager. What players here are the problems? I don't get it, man. I don't understand it at all.
And don't give me I'm not at the point. Well, it's the clubhouse dynamic. The clubhouse dynamic wasn't better last year. They sucked down the stretch last year.
Right. So
it can't be that.
If you're going to blame Eric Hosmer, he's not here anymore.
Right. Exactly. Thank you again. The Padres have no chemistry. How much of this is on Bomel? We need a players-only intervention. I was critical of Bob Melvin earlier today on the radio.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, not because of chemistry, but because of in-game decision-making, sticking with, who was it? Clevenger for 1 too many batters when he faced Max Muncy, or not starting Machado with third on Friday night against the Dodgers when Drury committed 2 terrible, whatever. One was an error, one wasn't, botched a ball. So I think everything's on the table, to be honest. I'm not going to criticize Peter Seidler or AJ Preller because I think they've done everything in their power to put this roster together, but on field and with this coaching staff, if there's reason for criticism, I think it should be brought up.
Yeah, Preller and Seidler have done their job. They have done more than enough for this team, for the coaching staff, everything. Preller, to me, completely off the hook. Seidler, for what he's done, for the money that he has given, handed out to make this team filled with superstar players. This goes on the players and the coaching staff. Plain and simple. No more blaming AJ Preller after what he did at the trade deadline. No. Juan Soto is a superstar, generational. He's not Adam Frazier. All right. So, and Josh Hader too. Josh Hader's been fine. He's been good, but he has no opportunities to close. This, to me, falls squarely on the players.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see how it couldn't. And maybe there's a level like we talked about pressing, or you get traded. I get it. All new environment, whirlwind of a week. I get it. It makes sense that there's an adjustment. It really does. It makes a lot of sense that there would be an adjustment. But at some point, you need to adjust. Other teams can adjust. Other teams make trade deadline acquisitions and don't skip a beat. Not every trade deadline acquisition is going to be perfect. I understand that. But Josh Bell's a 300 hitter for the Nationals. So he's got to be that hitter with the Padres. Juan Soto's going to have to hit for power on this team. They don't have any power. Brandon Drury's going to have to hit for power on this team. I know he nearly homered the other day as well against the Rockies, if not for that great play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Manny needs to be better. Like, it's just plain and simple. All your top guys need to be better offensively.
So,
That's
okay,
all I got.
let me just say this. Can I say this, Jim?
Yeah. What do you got?
There is a ton of time left in this season.
50
50
games.
games is an eternity. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. They don't even have to be perfect from here on out. There's a lot of scenarios. Any of these teams could tank. Milwaukee, St. Louis, Philadelphia. Now, could you be caught from behind by a team like San Francisco? I guess maybe if you let them back into it. But, I mean, even right now, 26 and 24, and the Brewers are going to have to outplay that. You get my point. Or all those teams, Brewers, St. Louis, Philadelphia, are going to have to outplay that. You do not have to be perfect here. You just need to be better. And to your point, Jim, you can't dig some hole now where you got to start playing really great baseball. You just got to be consistently good. Like, if this 5-game losing streak turns into you lose 10 of 11, you've really backed yourself into a corner, especially coming up with Washington, Miami, Washington again. Like, you just have to be decent. You just have to get through this stretch, stay a couple of games clear of someone. Now, I say that. You have the Dodgers coming 9 times in September. But you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be better than they're playing.
Exactly. You just are worried about, the stretch of games they have here. If they don't beat up on these bad teams and you go into September where it's going to be an insane schedule, now you're putting the onus on. You have to play good with no cushion.
Right. If you're 3 back with 22 to play, 9 are against the Dodgers, and I don't know if that math is right, but you get my point. You're 3 back with 22 to play, 9 against the Dodgers. Like, whoa, you got tons of work to do. Now, if you're 3 up with 22 to play and 9 against the Dodgers, okay. You could even give back a couple of games and still be in it. But how are they going to build this 3 or 4 game cushion? It has to be done in August, and it essentially has to be done now.
It
I
really
don't know if you heard
does.
about did you hear Bob Melvin postgame at all, Jim?
No.
I mean, first of all, he's critical of replay, and I get it. Secondly, he's like, listen, they're super engaged. Everyone wants it. And it feels to me like what he's saying is like, this is like a classic example of like,
wanted too much.
Yeah, you think it's the World Series because you're playing in front of 44,000 people on a Monday night, and the Giants are like, whatever, house money. We're going to go beat this team.
And they still only won 1-0. It wasn't like a 7-0 game.
No, you're right. I mean, again, it's not, this wasn't, I mean, were they embarrassing? No, the offense is embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
This is funny for Moises.
You
might be right. But I didn't say that last year, though.
Titanic.
No, last year I was like, this team is screwed.
We both said that.
I just don't feel that way this year.
Because it doesn't make sense. The whole thing, you think to yourself, okay, they have Juan Soto, they have Manny Machado, they have a healthy Yu Darvish, they have an all-star Joe Musgrove, they have one of the best closers in the game in Josh Hader. They traded for Josh Bell, who is having a great season. This doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, Jim, we've spent our entire lives watching baseball. Sometimes you can't explain it. I mean, there's teams that are destined for a great year that finish in last place, or teams that a year prior finished in last place and win a division over the course of baseball history.
That's why this notion of that they're guaranteed to make the postseason.
Right.
Well, I still think they're going. Well, I still think they're going to.
Right.
But to just laugh it off, like, why even think about that? I'm sorry.
You better be thinking about it.
Have you ever watched baseball before? Because anything can happen. And you've seen this team. Have you watched the Padres play? Yeah. Look what happened last year when they had like a 13-game lead on the wild card.
Right. No, not that many, but yeah, a lot.
You get that point. It was a lot. So I don't care.
What's going to fix it? I mean, Tatis? Again, we've asked for everything. We're like, what's going to fix it? Juan Soto, Josh Hader, Josh Bell, no Eric Hosmer.
Greatest thing ever.
like what can possibly Fernando Tatis Jr., I guess. Maybe he's the cure.